what's good, and welcome to my deck profile. Oh, still wearing this shit. Yo, what's good, and welcome to the top 16 deck profile. I took DLINK to Leeds Regional this past weekend. Got top 16. I went 6-2. My two losses were to time conditions. I lost one to scattershot, and I lost the other to me ghost nunning at the wrong spot. But yeah, it was originally meant to be a top 16 top cut, but the event was run pretty badly, so the top cut didn't end up happening and just ended up being Swiss. It is what it is, but yeah. So I'm just gonna go through the deck profile first, and then I'll talk about the deck and everything right afterwards, rather than keep you guys waiting. So let's just get straight into it. Alright, so let's just start with the deck profile. I played 3 Safer for my starter card. Also played Chamber, technically a starter card. And I paired Chamber with 2 Tidying. The reason I opted to play the Dragon Maid engine is because Tidying just lets you bounce a BYSTIAL that you summon off seals, and then you have an extra interruption that way. And this is also really good against stun decks, and it's another interruption through Dark Ruler, so it's really good. But in some matchups it can be pretty rough, and it's not the best going second, but if you have this plus Chamber and Grave, it's excellent recovery. For the rocket engine, I kept it extremely small. Like, some people may have an issue with the size. So for the actual rockets, I only played 2 tracers and 1 recharger, and just a 1 Apsarouter to dump off the ravine. I wanted to keep the deck slim, and I don't really want to see any rockets. Like, even Apsarouter is rough for me to play, but like, this tracer's really good. Obviously, it gets you 2 dragons on board, but I don't feel like you need to play more than this, really, because we don't have Hot Red or Chaos Ruler, so you don't really need extra rockets. Like, BYSTIALs are your best dragon extenders right now, because they can also act as interruption for your opponent's turn. Rockets, in my opinion, are kind of average, but Tracer's obviously the best rocket. Recharger is just a best level 4 you can summon off Tracer. And Apsarouter gets you to the rocket engine. Levy, it's just insane in control matchups. It's also great for breaking boards. The light effect usually doesn't come up because we usually don't have enough lights, but if it's gone into a grind game and you have like multiple Lubellions and Seyferts and Gammas and stuff in Grave, then it can be very useful. So that's nice to keep in mind. And going first, you can go to banish 3 darks and hand loop your opponent, which is pretty nice. And also it's a level 8 Dark Dragon, so you can tribute it to summon a Lubellion from Grave, and you can use it for rank 8 plays with Lubellion, which we'll get into in the extra deck. And I played 1 of each Baby Dragon. These cards are too good to not play. They just make you go plus infinity, gives you a free Link 2. And if you have Branded Regained or Chaos Space in Grave, then you just get free pluses off these cards. These cards are cracked. And for the BYSTIAL engine, we played a very big one. We played 3 Lubellion, the best one. This searches all the BYSTIALs, places a branded spell or trap, and it special summons itself from Grave by tributing a level 6 or higher Dark Dragon. That's level 8. And you can search off Chaos Space. And the other 3 of BYSTIAL is Magnamut. This card is insane for the deck. This searches for any dragon on summon in the end phase. So you can summon this off seal to search in end phase for follow-up plays. You can summon it through its own effect and then get search follow-up on the next turn, or search for another BYSTIAL for your opponent's turn. Like, this card is just so cracked for the deck. Like, being able to search Lubellion is insane. Being able to search Druid Worm for your opponent's turn is insane. Being able to search Safer or Levy or a Baby Dragon, it's just really good, really. And we play 2 Druid Worm and 2 Saronia. Druid Worm is the best one to have for your opponent's turn, because when it's sent from field to grave, it sends a special summon card, so it's an extra interruption. Saronia you really want for your turn, because when this is sent to grave, you can either send a bestial monster from deck to grave or send a branded spell or trap. So usually you want to send branded regained off of this, and then place the branded regained with branded beast in the end phase. However, if you've not got access into your main bestials, then you can use this to dump Lubellion, and then dump a Safer off of Ravine, and then add Lubellion to hand. Then you can use Lubellion to add a Magnamort, summon Magnamort, activate effect search in end phase. Then you contribute the Magnamort, summon Lubellion back, and place branded beasts. Then you've got the Bestial engine online. And obviously we're playing this engine. We played one regained, one beast. I'm really tempted to play the second beast because it's not a hard once per turn, and it has come up where I have been missing the second beast. So that is something to consider. Cards that I maybe would drop for it would be the Dragon Maid engine. Like maybe bump this up to 2 and then cut the Dragon Maid engine and just play maybe more extenders like Nocto, or even going second cards like Dark Ruler. But I don't know, it's something I have to test out more. But these cards were insane for me. Like, I would definitely consider playing more of them. And going second cards / hand traps, even though I consider the Bestials hand traps themselves, we played 3 Fenrir. This card is so good, man. Summons itself, it forces your opponent to out it, or you search another copy. When your opponent activates a monster effect, or this card declares an attack, you can banish a face-up card. So this is great with outing stupid floodgates that the deck usually struggles with, like Tikaboo or Zombie World and stuff like that. And it's just great at breaking your opponent's board, really. Like, this card overperformed. And the only hand trap in the deck was Gamma. This is like the only good hand trap in my opinion. Like, this card is really good to ensure your plays go through. Like, you can go Lubellion, you can go Chaos Space. You can use so many cards without summoning before committing to a monster on board to ensure that they go through. And if they try to stop them, then you just get a Gamma off, stop their hand trap, and you get 2 free bodies on board. And a free level 8 Synchro into Savage. Or you can get a free Link 2 or free Link Fodder for like a triple burst or something. But yeah, like, this is really good. It's also another way to stop tier effects, another way to negate, you know, it's just a juicy card. And then we move on to power spells. We played the free Chaos Space and the free Quick Launch. Like, these cards have been out forever. You know how good these are. Like, this is the only reason to really play the Rocket Engine, this and Tracer. And Chaos Space is so good right now because it searches Lubellion, Levy, or the Baby Dragons. And it just recycles your stuff. Like, it's insane. And I just played 1 Ravine, 1 Boot Sector as the last 2 cards, and played a slim 40 cards. Now, in my last deck profile, I did play Prosperity. The main reason I cut Prosperity was so that it had the highest possible chance of seeing multiple Bestials and going second cards in my opening hand, like for going second and stuff. And there was just not enough space to include the Prosperities in the 40 card main deck. Like, maybe if I cut the Dragon Maid engine, there could be space for them, but I'm not sure. It's something I'll have to revisit. But for now, this main deck performed amazingly for me. Like, it was insane going second, insane going first. And like I said, the only reason I lost my 2 games was, 1, I lost to Scattershot in time. And that game, my hand was crazy. I would have destroyed him if it went for the full game. I had a Gamma, 2 Bestials, and start a Chaos Space. So, like, there was no chance he was winning. And the only reason I couldn't stop the Scattershot was because he milled a tier alongside the Scattershot so he could chain block the Scattershot. And the other loss was to, I didn't read Ghost Sister properly. My opponent went Runic in time, Runic spell in time, and then I chained a Ghost Nun. I thought Ghost Nun said it halves your life if your opponent doesn't special summon, but it says it halves your life if you don't gain life. So I ended up halving my life, and then I wasn't able to do over 4,000 damage in less than 1 minute, so that one was on me. But I kind of wish the event ran smoother, so I would have still played in the top 16 cut. But we move. Going on to the extra deck, I played the Striker Dragon, the Pisty. These cards are insane. I've even considered playing the second Pisty, but like, you can recycle these cards easily with Regain and Chaos Spaces. That, like, it's not really an issue. Played 2 seals. The second seal has come up like once or twice, but not majorly, and you can recycle with Regained if necessary. So it is your personal preference if you want to play the second seal, but personally, if you're in a grindy game, you don't have a lot of resources, I think the second seal is very important. 1 Romulus, you just need it to search Ravine, really. And the second effect comes up sometimes. Not a lot of people know about it, but it's pretty nice. Dark, it just summons Dark from your opponent's grave. Darks are everywhere, everyone's playing Bestials. And if you summon your opponent's Magnamut, you just plus for free in the end phase, so it's pretty good. And usually it does give you the extra body you need for the Pisty combo, so it's pretty nice. Quad Burrow. So this is a great way to just make level 8 synchros, really. If you've got your 2 rockets in grave, you summon this, pop a Link 2, and then summon the Recharger and Rocket Tracer back, and then make a level 8 synchro, either Savage or Scarlight. You need to keep in mind that this works on your opponent's Link monsters too, so if they have like a Sprite Elf or a IP, then you can use this on that, and then if this destroys it, you can special your 2 rockets out and you've outed your opponent's monster. So remember, you can pop your opponent's cards, basically. Triple Burst, this is basically the best Link-free dragon to do for the Pisty line. It also does piercing that comes up sometimes, like maybe if you get Crooked Cooked or something. We were discussing it with the boys last night before the tournament. If you get Crooked Cooked, you can just keep punching the Crooked Cook with this to do damage, which is funny. Yeah, but it's mainly there for the Pisty arrow, so you can summon to the marker. And it's also got a neat effect if you have it on fields for some reason still, that you can attribute it to summon a Link to a lower back. So you can like use it to bring back a Quad Burrow or something. But yeah, like that effect will probably never come up, but it is there. And the big boy himself, Borrowland. This card is just crazy. Can't be targeted by monster effects, can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Neither player can respond to its effects to negate a monster on field and reborn a rocket, and it can attack all your opponent's monsters once each. So like, this is crazy, going second in outing your opponent's board. Like, I can't tell you how many times post-siding I've just gone Dark Ruler, make Borrowland, attack over everything, make Savage, pass, and then the opponent's just sat there dumbfounded, not knowing what to do. Like, this card is just so good. I don't really like making it going first game 1 because it plays into lots of stuff like Super Poly. If you're making Savage Borrowland, which is the main line you want to go for if you're going for this, and it does hurt your recursion because I think ending on Seal plus Bestials in hand and Bestial Engine is the ideal turn 1 end board, because it doesn't play into stuff like Super Poly or Dark Ruler. They act as hand traps, so they're very flexible, and they just don't lose to stupid stuff like a Lava Golem and, you know, just dumb cards basically. So this is why I don't really like ending on this game 1, turn 1. Like, I've seen sphere modes in my opponent's decks. I'm never ending on 3 monsters, like nice sphere modes, but they're never getting used, and you're just getting OTK next turn. So, and the other choice, which is kind of an odd one, is Borrowsword Dragon. Now, I was deciding on playing Borrowload Dragon, but I opted to play this instead, because this does out Towers monsters like the Agnister Towers, Final Sigma, you know, just stupid stuff like that. It gets bigger than Cheng Ying, you know. It just out stupid cards. And I was just scared of getting like memed on by a Towers card and me not being able to do anything and then losing. But yeah, this is the reason for that, because Borrowload can't stop those cards. And this is really easy to make in this deck. Plus, you can bring it back very easily. And there are some moments where this is an easy OTK button, so it's a pretty good card. And for the synchros, I played one Borrowload Savage Dragon, just a level 8 negate, which is super easy to make, and it gets pretty big. Scarlight, this card does effect damage, and it's also a really good board breaker card because it just regekis your opponent's entire board. So like if you summon this, it at least forces your opponent to use an interruption, and if not, then you just clear their entire board. And if you have a way to set up this plus this, then you can clear their board and stop their recovery effects, like a Collider Heart or something. Like usually you can clear boards with Burrow End anyway, but there does come moments where you have to enter the battle phase to force interruptions and then go to main phase 2, and this is the best card to make in main phase 2 to clear their boards. So yeah, this card is just crazy and it's underrated as hell. And we've got Baron. Now this doesn't come up that much, but it is a really nice card to have in your extra deck arsenal basically. It's like you can make this off of BYSTIAL and a Rocket Tracer. So if you open like a BYSTIAL, let's say you Magnum up your opponent and you search in your turn or whatever, and then your turn, draw phase, you activate Quick Launch, summon a Tracer, they're not going to do anything to that. Standby main, you instantly make a Baron, and they're forced to have to deal with Baron straight there because Baron forces a pop, and then it's a negate as well, and it's just crazy if you have a lot of resources basically. But you're not going to make this often, but when you do make it, it is crazy. And this is also another crazy card. This is Heretic Dragon, King of Atum. You just make this with 2 BYSTIALs because they're level 6, and it just specials a dragon from deck. So the main targets you want to summon from deck are either Safer, Magnum, if that's not what you've already used to make it. Chamber, Search Tidying, Tracer if you have no other way to access the rocket engine, you know. This card is really crazy. And the last card is Ding. So this card came up once in the tournament, but I forgot that it was in my extra deck, so I didn't actually make it. But if I did make it, it would have probably been pretty game-changing. It was in game 1, which I lost. Basically, I was against a Runic player. I just went Levy and forced a Runic effect negate. And I had Lubellion, Levy on field. I could have overlaid into Ding and sent the field spell and got rid of all the interruptions, then went for the OTK. But I just forgot this was in my extra deck, and I threw that game, but hey ho. I mean, it's not a very standard choice, so I completely blanked on it, but I'll definitely remember to make this in the future, because this card is crazy when it comes up, but it will likely come up in 1 in 10 scenarios, basically. And yeah, let's move on to the side deck. So I played Free Rivalry, one of the best floodgates of the format. Completely shuts down tier, shuts down branded, and Sprite struggles really hard against this unless they hard open Smashers, which they have to waste on this, or if they're playing the Runic build and they have Destruction, which they have to waste on this and not on the Trap or Regained, which they struggle on dealing with. So like this forces your opponent to have the answer, otherwise they lose. And we played Dark Ruler, which was really good, and I kind of regret not maining it. So like I said, I might test out playing 2 Branded Beast, no Dragon Maid Engine, and main decking Dark Ruler, because this card was so good for me. But we'll have to see how testing goes with this in the main deck. Played the Cosmic Cyclones for Runic and just back row stuff. I played Ghost Nuns to counteract just getting red resonated out of existence. I played Chaos Hunter, which I just did not side in at all. So like maybe this should be something like Droll or another hand trap, but then again, I didn't really struggle with hand traps. I felt like all my going second cards were crazy. So maybe it could be like another going first card, but this spot in the side deck, I'm not sure on. But yeah, this could be anything really, like up to personal preference. But yeah, that has been the deck list. Now I'll talk a little about my matchups. So round one, we did have a 3-hour delay, so I did get a no-show because my opponent just decided to go home, which is understandable, to be fair. Round two, I played against Sprite Ojama, which was pretty weird, and I was pretty confused how he ended up 1-0, but that was an easy victory. And then round three is when we started getting real decks, so we got Math Mech. That was a pretty hard grind game. Like game one, he had set up the trap and everything, and I couldn't deal with it with my hand. And game two, he couldn't deal with my board. And game three, I broke his board and set up my board and stuff, and like it was wraps from there. Round four, I played against Tia, which I was very happy about because it is my freest matchup. But game one, I somehow managed to open 0 Bystials and 0 hand traps. So game one, I lost that game. And in game two, I actually saw my Bystial, so I dominated that game. And game three, we went into time. I should have probably scooped game one faster, but it's just something about me. I try to win in unwinnable positions. I just need to learn when to give up, basically. I had Gamma and 2 Bystials. So my opponent started with Rhinoheart dumping Merly. And then I had a decision whether to Bystial the Merly and pray that they didn't have a way into sprints to send a scatter shot and burn me in time. But that is a very risky choice, so I decided to just bank on them on not hard milling the scatter shot. And if they did hard mill the scatter shot, then as long as they didn't mill a tier along with the scatter shot to chain block it, then I was still fine. But of course, they milled a scatter shot plus Shiren, so they chain blocked the scatter shot with Shiren, and I just couldn't do anything about that. So I lost that game, unfortunately. Round five, I played against Tier again, and I 2-0'd him in like 20 minutes, which is how the matchup is supposed to go, basically, because the Bystials just shut down the deck so hard. Plus, the dragon stuff easily break their boards. Yeah, round six, I played against Runic Sprite. This was my other loss. So game one was... this was the game where I didn't make the Dingusu and fucked myself over. But, like, that's my fault. And game two, I dominated pretty easily. But, like, I've wasted so much time in game one. Like, so much time was wasted in game one. I either should have scooped faster or I should have not made a mistake, basically. But yeah, we ended up taking the game two, but it took a while, and now we're in game three with like 3 minutes in time. He goes a runic spell, and I chain Ghost Sister, but I should have held it for the gigantic, because now I've ended up halving my life in his turn, and then on my turn, I have to try and do over 4,000 damage. So I start with a Bystial, and then he uses his Ghost Sister, and then I chain a Bystial to summon. But I should have used the Bystial on the same target as my first Bystial, so that my first Bystial doesn't summon under Ghost Sister, and then it would half his life as well, and then it would be a draw. But like, there's nothing much. I can't win from that position any other way. But I end up losing because I don't see that. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's my fault. Like, we learn from these things. Round 7, I played against Branded Tier. It was a pretty grindy matchup, but overall my deck felt stronger and I felt control of the entire match. My final round, I played against another Tier player, which was very easy to beat. And yeah, I ended up on 6-2, which did put me in the top 16 cut, which it was meant to be a top 16 cut. But like, because of issues with how the event was run, it was not possible for top cut to be run, so it just ended up in Swiss. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I shouldn't have made the mistakes in Swiss, and I should scoop faster, I guess. Or like Konami could give us more time, which would be nice. But yeah, the deck felt really strong. Like, I didn't lose any matches except for time. So basically, as long as you can finish your games quickly, then you'll have no issues at all. So that's pretty much all I have to improve on, basically. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile anyway. Any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below. I'll make sure to answer them. I've got a vlog on not this event, but I've got a UK Open vlog coming on the way. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And yeah, it's been your boy Minifez. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you guys next time.